Today I'm going to be making some chicken wings. This is one of my favorite pub style foods and it's very easy to make. They're crispy, they're spicy, they're delicious. It's everything that I want. It's super fun and they're really easy to make. So what I have here are 40 chicken wings, just split wings, and what I did is I patted them off with a paper towel just so they were as dry as possible. Now I'm going to be tossing them and letting them sit for just a little bit, and what I'm going to use for that is this is just 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and this little spice mix here is 2 tablespoons each of paprika and garlic powder. It is a tablespoon and a half of just table salt, and then also 2 tablespoons of baking powder, and that's going to allow the skin to get as crispy as possible. So I'm just going to add that to this flour, give it a really quick mix here, and then I'm going to toss it with the wings. And I'm going to use this meat tub here, just because that's going to simplify things and make it far less likely that I'm going to make a mess on my island here. And give it a little toss like so. And there we go, nicely tossed. Everything's coated in all little crevasses. And now I'm just going to slide them onto this little rack here so that they can just do their thing for about 20 or 30 minutes here. And that's just going to allow the skin to dry out really nicely. And in the meantime, I'm going to preheat my oven to about 450 degrees, and I'm going to preheat my deep fryer to its max, which is 375 degrees Fahrenheit. All right, so we're ready to actually fry these wings here. So they've been sitting here for about half an hour. One of the additional benefits of letting them sit like that is that the flour and spices and baking powder and everything are far less likely to actually try and drift off of the chicken once you actually get it frying, which is super nice. And it doesn't mess up your oil quite as badly. So I'm going to get all of these in here, just like so. Then I'm going to give it a couple of shimmies, and I'll keep kind of doing that for the first little bit during the frying process, just to sort of help ensure that those wings don't get stuck together. Meanwhile, I've got a half cup of unsalted butter melting here, and as soon as that's melted, I've got some stuff that I'm going to add to it. Okay, so now that this unsalted butter is nicely melted, I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients for my hot sauce. So this is 3/4 of a cup of sriracha sauce. You can use whatever your favorite hot sauce is. I like the flavor of this. And there's also a tablespoon of liquid honey in there, just to add a hint of sweetness. There we go. And I'm just going to whisk it together until it's combined. And I'll actually turn off the heat now, because I'm not looking to sit here and boil this or anything like that. Let's get it nicely combined, and then once these wings are all fried up, after their 10 minutes, we will toss them with this. Alright, so frying process is done. These are really nice and crispy so far. Let those drip for a sec. And then we'll toss them into this bowl. So now it's time to add our hot sauce. It's right here. Give it one last little stir and pour it over top. I'll scrape it in and then we'll give it a toss. And so the second phase of this that I like to use is just baking them, just so that they're not quite as drippy, saucy as they are right now. So we'll toss them here. Them all nicely coated. And then as you can see here, I've got a baking sheet set up, and I've got a little rack on top of it, and that's going to let some of this sauce just sort of drip off, so it's not sitting there being totally soaked in it while it's cooking. Everything will drip off really nicely. I think you can hear the sounds of the rest of dinner being made as we speak. Alright, so that's going to go into that 450 degree oven. We're just going to let that bake for a few minutes until they're looking sweet. Okay, so after 5 minutes, I'm just going to pull these out and I will let them sit for a minute. So there we have it. Beautiful, crispy, spicy, delicious. Not too messy with that second bake that we did there. So you can just knock these back and not worry about looking like an absolute sauce hound. So yeah, I highly recommend this. You should definitely give it a try. And until next time, keep her at 11.